Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Monday. You know what today is? Monday morning chats with Sack. Sack is me. I hope that you guys had a great weekend. I had a really good weekend and I didn't really do like so much. I just cleaned. So, I hear some people talk about, I hired somebody. Not me. I like to scrub floors and scrub baseboards, and all that type of stuff. So that's just me. So I cleaned, and I have like a basket full of smell good stuff in my house. Like I always like buy smell good stuff, and got a chance to like light some candles and use my wax burner. It was cool. So it was good. I did some laundry and just got a chance to just really relax. So it was a good weekend. I didn't have to go anywhere or like blow money to have a good time. So this is one thing I want to say before I start my message, that during tax season I'll always see people, like some people post about, like, when you get your refund you need to spend it on this, you need to form a business. Please shut the hell up. You don't have to do anything. You could do whatever you want with your tax money. So I don't know why people do that. Like, if you're not into like the financial literacy thing, you're not a financial advisor, like, please don't tell nobody what to do with their money. Hey, if you want to, buy new sneakers, buy new clothes, whatever, do whatever you want with your money. I mean, I can always make recommendations as a tax attorney, but you're entitled to do whatever you want. So whatever you want to do with your money, like, it's yours. Like, it's yours. Like, and that's okay. So don't feel bad if you decided not to open a business. You don't have to. Like, you really don't. And everyone is not able to be a business owner. If you receive a stimulus payment, do whatever you want. I mean, I can make recommendations like, hey, maybe you could pay down debt. That's a recommendation. I'm not requiring you to do that. You could do whatever you want. So if you're receiving your stimulus payment, your tax refund, do whatever you want. I mean, I just think like this year, we are starting to see some form of normal in some form. And, some people just really want to live. Last year was very depressing to many. And some people didn't get a chance to see their family in months. So now people are able to go out more. People are getting vaccinated. So some people just want to live. So just let people live. Let people live. So here's what I want to talk about today. Now, I had to think about this, and I think this may be helpful. This can be for someone that is in high school. This could be with someone that's in college. This could be for an adult, an older adult that's just not sure about things at their job. And I want to give you some advice based on my own experience. And the experience that I have now, we are at my job, because I work at the law school. We're trying to hire someone for the clinic that I work at, like a director. And I got a chance to sit in the interviews, and I have a key part in who gets hired. So if you know me, the one thing I've learned in life is to really speak up for yourself. So whether I'm at a job or in my family, I will speak up. And it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And so for me, when I speak up, I'm not demeaning. I will tell you exactly how I feel. In a way that you understand. So I don't like to yell. I don't like to use profanity when I'm trying to get my point across. If I'm using little bombs here and there, it's because I'm really emphasizing like this is how I feel, but rarely. So if I had to label this, it would be how to be a valuable player. So before I begin about my process with the new interviews right now, I could just tell you about my experience. Now, some people, when they start a job, they give it their all in the beginning and they just stop. And so I thought about, like, what would I tell my younger cousins, or what would I tell my future children about how to do well at the job? And yes, some people don't want to have a business, and that's not something that I will push on people. Now, if you want to start a business, like, I could show you what you could do. But for me, it's okay to have a 9 to 5. Like, I would never bash somebody if I have a 9 to 5. Like, I like to teach, so I'm gonna always have some type of form of 9 to 5. Like, that's just me. Do I believe in different streams of income? Absolutely. I don't just rely on one stream. So when I thought about being a valuable player, I thought about when I first became a licensed attorney. I worked at a law firm, and I was nervous. Like, I didn't know anything, and I was still trying to figure out things. And what made me valuable? How do you know that you're valuable? My pastor talked about this. Like, are they afraid to lose you? Like, if you decide to quit, will they beg you to stay? And if they don't beg you to stay, Like, how valuable are you? Like, do you help the business that you work for? Like, are you needed? Like, when you take off, they can feel it. Or if you take a leave of absence, like, they can feel it. Like, how valuable are you? And what can you do to make yourself valuable? Let me give you some advice. When I first started practicing law, I worked at an international tax law firm. I didn't know a goddamn thing about international tax, but I knew that I wanted to learn. So what I did was, when I got into this position as a associate, I researched. I figured out, like, what does it mean to handle international tax matters. If my supervising attorney came to me with a problem, I went back to my office, closed my door, and I figured it out. Now, there may be things where I don't know. And the one thing I will tell you is that, first, to be a valuable player, don't be afraid to ask for help. There's a comment. Yes. Build wealth. Of course, I believe in that. Yes, it's okay to have a 9 to 5. People bash others for having a 9 to 5, but you can still build wealth by other means. You don't necessarily have to form a business, but you can still build wealth. Yes, I get that. So the first thing is don't be afraid to ask for help. I think a lot of times people have pride in it's this idea like, I know everything. Here's what I do before I ask for help. I try to figure it out. I'll give myself a certain time frame and say, hey, I'm gonna try to figure this out in 2 hours or 3 hours. And if I can't, if I reasonably believe that I tried all different avenues and it didn't work for me, then I'm gonna ask for help. That way the person can tell that you tried. Like, in life, like, things shouldn't just be handed to you. Like, you got to work for it. And so the first thing I did was, hey, I'm not really sure about this, but you don't, and I would tell people, hey, you don't have to give me the answer, but can you put me in the right direction? That's how you learn. Don't be afraid to ask for help. It's okay not to know everything. Like, put your pride to the side. The second thing is, in your actual title, like, know the job duties and, like, do them well. Like, whatever the job duties are for your job, like, learn those and master those. And then when you believe that you master those, you should ask yourself, can you train someone for your exact position? Like, can you train them? Can you teach them everything about this position? And once you feel like you can train them and you can teach somebody about your position, then the next thing is, who's the person ahead of you? Like, who's the person that you report to? Learn their position and learn it well. And while you're learning it, ask questions like, hey, I noticed that when you do this, why do you do certain things like this? Hey, when you run these reports, why do you run these reports? And when are you required to run these reports? Inquire about that other person's position. Because now you're learning about your position. So if you leave and someone's coming after you, you could teach them the position before you leave. But if you're trying to get promoted to the next level, hey, now you know your position very well. And now you know the person ahead of you, their position very well. Ask questions. And always ask to, if you realize, hey, you don't have a lot on your plate, or maybe you realize, hey, I've done everything, don't be afraid to ask for more. One of my mom's old bosses, like when I was growing up, I always asked him, like, Mr. Gus, like, how did you become so successful? Like, how were you able to be like a vice president of a big company? And he told me, he said, I wasn't afraid to take on more work. Even if I didn't know how to do it, I would just figure it out. So do that. Even if you don't know how to do it, like I'm trying to tell you, like you'll be able to figure it out. So don't be afraid, like figure it out. And when employers see your work ethic, you now become valuable. And it's going to make them want to pay you. Now, I can tell you this, it's a little different in private versus like government or city jobs, because with government and city jobs, they have a scale. So you could get a small promotion, but big bonuses, they may take some years. But when you work in private, it's so easy to get like big bonuses and big salary increases. Like it's not hard at all. So learn your position, learn the person ahead of you position. Always be willing to take on more. Always be willing to ask questions. Be punctual. Don't be the person that's always late. Be on time. There's a saying, to be early is to be on time. To be on time is to be late. Always be early. Always be early. That's the one thing that my employers recognized about me, was that I always came on time. Now, there may have been times where it was out of my control. Maybe there was a big accident, but I would always let them know ahead of time. But always be on time. Be punctual. Say what you mean and mean what you say. That is important. At your job, you know how to be a valuable player. Help others. You know, if you know someone is struggling at their job, like, help them. Don't be afraid to say, hey, let me help you out real quick. People see that. People notice that. And then when it comes time for you to talk about like your yearly evaluation, you can talk about all the things that you have done. And then that's going to make people say, hey, we need her here. We can't lose her. How you could tell you're a valuable player? When you give your 2 weeks notice and they ask, well, is it money? Can we pay you more? They willing to pay you more. They realize they don't want you to go. So what are you doing to become a valuable player? Like, what are you doing? Are you just mediocre? Are you just doing basic shit at your job? Or are you really going above and beyond? If you have 8 hours in your job and the only 2 hours out those 8 hours you're working, you should ask yourself, well, what are you doing with the other 6 hours? Are you learning something? Or maybe you have a business. Maybe you can like work on your business. But make those 8 hours at your job count. Make those count. And if you can't, you wasting time. You're wasting time. So be a valuable player. I hope and pray that this message helped you. I hope and pray that you realize like, hey, you are great. You are phenomenal. And never settle for being mediocre. Like, go above and beyond. Like, you got this. You got this. Have a great Monday. I know I'm enjoying my Monday. It's spring break. So if you are on spring break, enjoy yourself and be safe. Take care.